Hi, this is Billie Beene here with a world news flash update. Tea attack on Russia. Some of my sources I'm using are God in the Bible, Patriot, Subscriber, Hal Turner, RT, Sputnik, Through the Eyes of Plus. So let's get started. I'll begin by drawing a map. We have Russia, Moscow. We have Ukraine, small town of Russia, Bryansk, Belarus, okay, Poland, Crimea. Okay, on Friday, March 2223. We have a time difference. Some reports say Friday and some say Saturday. There was a tea attack, a terrorist attack on Russia in a concert hall called Crocus City Hall. So far, 133 are dead and about 200 wounded. And this is what we know. It appears to have been perpetrated by the shadow parts of the shadow. The U.S. government, the U.K. government, and Ukraine. So, I think this was in the afternoon. There was a concert going on, and 4 assassins came in. So 4 assassins. They've been linked to Zelensky, Budanov, and Zagorski. These are part of the Ukraine government and military, as well as the U.S. shadow. This is a shadow operation. The U.S. State Department, CIA, UK State Department, MI6, and Ukraine, Zelensky, Budanov, Zagorski plus. So the 4 assassins were contacted by telegram, and they were contacted by telegram to be paid $5,400. One half was downloaded to their debit cards before the attack, and then they were to be paid the other half when they completed the task. And these were military-age men dressed in camo. They had AK-47s plus other weapons. They had on a bulletproof vest. When they went in to the concert hall and began, first they took out everyone at the front who would have been checking them through gates. You know, we have to walk in side gates now and be looked over, or they have also, I believe, some type of devices at front gates now and public gathering places to determine if you have explosives or weapons or whatever. So the assassins walked up to the concert hall, just opened fire, took out all the people in the front, began firing in the front of the building, went into the building and began firing. And they were also wearing body cams, and they took video of each other killing unarmed civilians, including children as young as 8 years old, with assault rifles and also knives. They were stabbing and cutting the throats of some people. The attack only lasted about 10 to 15 minutes, then they came out. Now, There had to be a second group, so that was the assassins. Then they attempted to make their escape coming from Moscow to Bryansk, where the Ukraine military stood ready to receive the assassins and hide them. But Russia arrested them on this side of the Russian border. Now, the assassins was one group. That was a separate group, and they really didn't have their escape plan was not thought out. Apparently, they weren't intended to escape. They came in a white Renault vehicle, a small car sedan. They also, there was a person at the concert hall who photographed them getting out of the Renault with their weapons, who then contacted local law enforcement. So the law enforcement was there within minutes, but the group went in for 10 to 15 minutes, killed all these people, came back out to the same Renault. I submit they were under surveillance, and the Russian law enforcement and FSU, that's the Russian intel group, wanted to see where they would go. They headed back to the Ukraine and were arrested on this side. And the Russian government now has the body cams and the video of them shooting one another. The 4 assassins, allegedly from Tajikistan, who had been in Turkey, then came to Russia. It's believed what they're putting out now. And these 4 assassins were put on 3, because one was injured and is in the hospital. The 3 assassins were put on Russian TV and were the Russian government was televising their interrogation of these individuals, who said they simply did it for money, $5,400, to assassinate hundreds of people. We now have 133 dead, 200 wounded, but there had to have been a second group. So the white Renault came. There was also a white unmarked van that came, and who got out or escaped from this van is unknown, but I submit the building had a separate group of terrorists who had positioned explosives in the building that most likely were remote detonated, and this would have been by this perhaps second group. And also the assassins also came into Russia, and they also had pre-positioned weapons. So that's going on. So we see a well thought out plan. Now we can associate the shadow U.S. State Department and the shadow UK State Department, U.S., UK State Departments. Also the shadow CIA and the shadow MI6. On March 8, the shadow U.S. State Department and the shadow UK Department gave warnings to their citizens inside Russia to avoid going where large gatherings were for the next 48 hours. So then, that was March 8. 48 hours would have been to about March 10. The attack, the the terrorist attack, took place on about March 23. So there was some time variance. I submit the possibility that these public warnings by the U.S. State Department and the UK State Department was a pre-set up go for the assassination and detonation of the building. So I believe when they were warning citizens avoid public gatherings for the next 48 hours, I believe that was a go signal for the individuals involved in this T attack. So the building had to be pre-wired with explosives. It's a massive, well-built concert hall, several stories high. And as the assassins came in and began shooting down all these unarmed civilians, including children, and knife cutting the throats of some of them, at the same time, concurrent, the building then caught on fire and the roof began to collapse. Well, we saw that on 9/11. There had to have been pre-positioned explosives, the remote detonation for the building to be coming down concurrent with the assassination attack. And let's not forget that visit by a few days ago to Rishi Sunak, a secret visit to England. I submit they may be attached. Okay, so the assassins wore body cams. Russia has the video now. And our hearts and condolences go out to the Russian people who are now mourning their family members, including children as young as 8 and 11 years old. So Russia has currently arrested 11 people. 4 are the assassins. 5, it's reported, worked for the concert hall. So that's 5, 4, 9. 2 are unknown, but I submit there's a separate group who did the explosives and the detonation. So that's going on. So we have 11 people arrested, including 4 Ukrainian assassins. Yeah, so that's going on. And we have this. Yeah, they tried to escape. And in their vehicle, the Russian government and the white Renault, the 4 assassins tried to escape in, they found AK assault rifles, Saya hunting rifle, Makarov handgun, and allegedly they came into Russia. A date has not been provided for when they came in, but they had pre-positioned weapons, and allegedly the assassins said they didn't know who hired them. They were hired via telegram. 1/2 of the money was wired to their debit cards. I have one source who says this sounds like a CIA taught covering for the assassins. Oh yeah, I didn't know who hired me, and so on. And they were wearing camo, bulletproof vest, and this also is coming out. They were obviously well trained by military standards, not just 4 assassins out of just Pakistan. So in Ukraine, we have a member of the Ukraine government publicly taking credit for the T attack inside Russia. Secretary of National Security in Ukraine, Oleksiy Danilov, on TV said, "We will give them, Russia, more fun like this." So Ukraine is taking responsibility for the attack. Initially, The shadow CIA tried to put out, oh, it was ISIS. No one believed that. And we have Russia from their anti-terrorism department, Sergei Gonarov, who said the mastermind for the CIA-backed, U.S. CIA-backed terrorist attack, the mastermind, according to Russia, is Budanov. He's the head of the intel group inside Ukraine. And then we had, within hours, Russia attacking Kiev, the capital of Ukraine, as well as Lviv, that's very near the Poland border. Reportedly, 4 of the cruise missiles were inside Poland airspace for 39 seconds. The guided missiles came in from Russia, were briefly over Poland airspace, and then hit Lviv and also Kiev. They were hitting Ukraine and NATO locations where weapons and troops and individuals were located. Yeah, so that happened. And yeah, the large fire in the concert hall appears to me to have been, the building had to have had pre-planted explosives that would have been remote detonated. This is simply my thinking. I'm not seeing any sources on this, but common sense would tell you a 3-story steel concrete building doesn't immediately fall because 4 assassins come in and start shooting down civilians. It had to have been pre-planted explosives, remote detonated. So that's going on. So this concludes my flash. Our heart and prayers go out to the Russian people who are mourning the loss of their families, including children. I love you, and I'll see you soon.